This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Khimire with the news, the headlines first. Seat allocation task force meeting of the ruling alliance concludes. 87 political parties to contest for House of Representatives election. British ambassador to Nepal, Nicola Pollitt, pays courtesy call on Home Minister Balkrishna Khad. Matters of consolidating bilateral ties discussed. And Ukrainian president says Europe was on a verge of a nuclear disaster. Now the news in detail. The task force meeting of the ruling alliance formed to prepare a draft of seat distribution for the upcoming federal and provincial elections concluded yesterday. The leaders discussed the options to finalize the number of seats of the 165 constituencies in the election scheduled for the 20th of November. According to Radio Nepal's reporter Kesab Dhungana, for the 165 constituencies, Nepali Congress claimed 100 seats, CPN Maoist Centre claimed 60 seats, CPN Unified Socialist demanded 40 seats, Janta Samajwadi claimed 32 seats and Rashtriya Jana Morcha Party made claim on 2 seats. However, the ruling parties are yet to finalize the seat sharing. The meeting called for today is also set to discuss seat sharing for the provincial constituencies. Lawmakers have drawn the attention of the authorities concerned, demanding a sustainable solution to unmanaged solid waste and urbanization in the Kathmandu Valley. Taking part in the meeting of the Sustainable Development and Good Governance Committee under the National Assembly, the lawmakers sought alternatives to the landfill site at Pancharedana to dump the valley waste. In response to the queries, the Secretary at the Ministry of Urban Development, Dr. Ramesh Prasad Singh, said the ministry was coordinating in the management of garbage of the Kathmandu Valley. The British ambassador to Nepal, Nicola Pollitt, held a courtesy call on Home Minister Balkrishna Khad yesterday. During the meeting that took place at the Ministry of Home Affairs, the two sides discussed the matters relating to further consolidating bilateral ties. On the occasion, Minister Khad thanked the ambassador for the successful completion of the integrated program for strengthening security justice supported by the UK government. According to the Home Minister's Secretariat, yesterday's meeting was held in the context of signing a Memorandum of Understanding between the two countries to continue the program. The Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office of United Kingdom on October 2021 had endorsed the continuity of the program for the second phase in Nepal. During the meeting, Home Minister Khad said the program had its role in increasing people's access to security and justice and combating gender-based violence. During the meeting, Ambassador Pollitt expressed her concern about the situation of transitional justice in Nepal. The Election Commission has confirmed that 87 political parties will take part in the upcoming House of Representatives elections. The joint spokesperson of the Commission, Surya Prasad Aryal, said 75 political parties would contest the election with a single election symbol, while 12 political parties have formed 4 clusters with 3 parties in each proposing one election symbol for one cluster. In total, the Election Commission would provide 79 election symbols. As per the update, the Election Commission has also fixed the serial number of the political parties in the ballot paper. The Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Pampa Busal, has underscored the need for collective efforts to create more avenues for unlocking climate finance for green grid investments. Virtually addressing the session towards COP27 regional forums on climate initiatives to finance climate action and SDGs, which was organized yesterday, the Energy Minister said the grids developed under the Green Grids Initiative needed wider support. The forum has been organized by the United Nations Economic Commission for Asia and the Pacific and the United Nations High-Level Climate Champions for COP26 and COP27. The Ministry of Health and Population yesterday reported 3 corona-related deaths in Nepal. Likewise, the Health Ministry confirmed 444 new cases of the COVID-19 infection while testing 4,954 samples. Similarly, 307 people infected from COVID-19 infection recovered yesterday. The government has planned to construct 3 advanced terminal buildings in 3 domestic airports. According to the Civil Aviation Authority of Nepal, Biratnagar, Nepalganj and Bharatpur airports have been chosen for terminal construction within the current fiscal year. The selected airports remain the regional hub airports in the country. Authorities officiating Deputy Director and spokesperson Jagannath Nirola said the authority issued a notice on Wednesday to select the contractors for the projects. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. On to some international updates now. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Europe faced the prospect of a nuclear disaster on Thursday when a Russian-occupied nuclear plant was disconnected from Ukraine's power grid. It was only due to backup electricity kicking in that the Zaporizhzhia plant was able to operate safely. Fires had earlier damaged overhead power lines, cutting the plant off. There is growing concern over fighting near the complex, which is the largest nuclear plant in all of Europe. Meanwhile, Russian Defense Ministry says it had killed Ukrainian troops in a railway station attack in central Ukraine that Kiev said left 25 people, including children, dead. Meanwhile, Kiev and said the Russian attack at the railway station on Wednesday killed 25 civilians. The European Union has condemned Russia's bombardment of the railway station and warned those responsible for the attack would be held accountable. Japan's national police chief says he will resign to take responsibility for the fatal shooting of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe last month. Itaru Nakamura's announcement on Thursday came as his agency released a report blaming flaws in police protection from planning to guard at the scene that led to Abe's assassination at a campaign speech on the 8th of July in Nara of Japan. Japanese media reported that his resignation is expected to be approved at Friday's cabinet meeting. Now sports. Nepal defeated Kenya by 5 wickets in the first T20 match played under the series between the two nations. Nepal chased the target of 131 runs in 19.2 overs, losing just 5 wickets. Dipendra Singh Airi scored the highest 33 runs for the Nepali team. In the first inning, Kenya managed to score 130 runs, losing 8 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. For the Nepali bowling side, Sompal Kami took 3 wickets and Sandeep Lamichhane took 2. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today, according to the Meteorological Forecasting Division. The weather will be partly to generally cloudy in the hilly regions of the country and partly cloudy in the rest of the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is also likely to occur at a few places in Province Number 1, Bagmati Province and Gandaki Province, and at 1 or 2 places in the rest of the country. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin, but before wrapping up, the headlines once again. Seat allocation task force meeting of ruling alliance concludes. 87 political parties to contest for House of Representatives election. British Ambassador to Nepal Nicola Pollitt pays courtesy call on Home Minister Balkrishna Khad. Matters of consolidating bilateral ties discussed. And Ukrainian President says Europe was on the verge of a possible nuclear disaster. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin. Our next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website, www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Also, do check our English news portal at www.onlineradionepal.gov.np/English. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.